Okay, guys, welcome back. We're over here counting my pennies. Actually, we're going to hop on the T-34s here in a second. I just want to put some of these crew members, glue them down and paint them because I suspect I'll probably get a chance to do that in the morning. I'm just going to do one set of each. If you don't know what the heck this is, well, you should have watched my unboxing that I did a little while ago. And we already watched these in detergent. And that's these figures right here from Orion, and I'm pretty happy with them. I don't know how they're going to work, being the consistency that they are of plastic figures, but the sculpting on them is very good. I'm impressed. The sizing on them and the heft of them is also very good. They're very compatible with the white metal miniatures that I have. So very happy to report that that was a win, an apparent win. So we're just going to trim these guys up. And one thing that is kind of a pain with plastic miniatures like this is that if you want to clean them up of flash, it is very, you can't do them in the standard way. You can't just run it on the surface and scrape it because you create like furry bits. It's strange. You literally have to slice this stuff away. That's the only gripe. I think that's going to be a bigger problem than the paint sticking on them. I think I'm going to be able to get the paint sticking on them using the polyurethane. But it's just when you scrape them like this, I don't know, it just behaves differently. But anyhow, we're going to go with that guy as he is. But this is nice to have these dismounts when they bail out of a vehicle. You know, they're on foot. And I name all of my figures. Yeah, see, I'm still wanting to scrape these like that. I guess maybe it will work. I don't know. I'm just going to be patient. Just cutting pieces off, it doesn't work either. But they're really nice castings. The faces are really good. I think they'll paint up just fine. Oh. Mr. Barnes, welcome back. The white flower of painting. Is that York or Lancaster? I forget which one it is. I've been wanting to see that. Which is that mini-series that they do? Is it the White Queen or something like that? I haven't seen it. I don't mind watching those miniseries, even if they're a bit, how do I say it, girly. As long as they have historical stuff. You know, they always, you know, they got to put stuff in there for, you know, the girls to want to watch those type of shows, which my wife wouldn't watch them anyways, but York, okay. I read that book, or had it read to me, that by Dan Jones on the War of the Roses, and thought it was pretty interesting. It was a lot less complicated than I thought it was, but he does a really good job of explaining things. He does a really good job of explaining things, so. Yeah, I read it because we were going to do this big. Well, I did it. We did a big, a 3-part War of the Roses game with DBA. I want to say last year. So. So. I wanted to have a kind of a frame of reference for everything, and actually it made me enjoy the games a lot more having read the history. Yeah, see, this is not getting the best cleanup with this. And this is a brand new blade. But these figures are excellent. They really are. Well, I may punt on this and then watch some videos on how to properly clean these figures because using an X-Acto knife doesn't seem to be working. And I think I've read of people like using like a flame really close by and I don't know, that sounds a little too risky for my taste. I'm going to punt on the figures. I'm going to punt on doing them right now, or I'm going to spend 3 hours and not get anything done. Which means I will punt on the pennies as well. We're going to put this litany of pennies away, and we're going to pull the T-34s out and knock them out. Actually, before we start messing with the T-34s, I'm actually going to go ahead and make their stands and goop them, so that if we get around to finishing them tomorrow morning, we'll be able to mount them. But those figures are really good. I just gotta watch them. I gotta watch some videos on how to clean them up because the traditional method isn't working. I think they'll be durable enough. I've got this guy here that they already painted, and he seems to be pretty durable with the polyurethane primer. It's gonna give a little bit, so yeah, it's not like we're gonna let a 3-year-old play with them. All right, let's de-jewelerize, and let's put the usual suspects out here. These are ones that we painted this morning and gave them the Agrax Earthshade wash, and this is what they end up looking like, shiny and dark. So we're gonna go back with the camouflage orange green and get the little palette here we were using and paint away with that. Oh, well, I just don't listen to what I plan on doing. Let's get the four bases for these guys. Here's 2. Run low on this stuff. Are these different thickness? No. What's up, Justin? Painting some T-34s. I gotta go in the other room for a second. Well, it's not where it's supposed to be. It's because it's right here. All right, here's the 4 bases that we have. I want them to be the same width of the other T-34s. Let's grab one of the other T-34s. Yeah, I was actually going to do a workout, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to be too shaky. I won't be able to paint. I need to paint tonight, so. Let's get one of these leftover things. Come on. Actually, this one should do just fine. I can't imagine being at the gym for 2 hours. But, hey, whatever works for you. Just get bored. There goes the tip. Remember I told you no tips are broken? This one just broke. Got snotlings on order. Ah. The little people. I remember when I first saw the orcs for Games Workshop, and I was surprised that they were green. Because I think in D&D they're a different color, right? And the 4th one. That way we'll do this. This will all be cured and everything, and we don't have to worry about it. Back, shoulders, arms. I love doing, I don't have anybody to spot me, you know, and I'm in my 50s, so, you know, I'm not trying to prove anything. Them days are over. But trying to get used to, you know, exercise things that we don't all exercise, you know. So I tend to not concentrate on legs because, you know, legs are exercising every day. And when I'm walking, we got a Peloton here in town, in the house. That kicks my ass when I do that. So I can get the leg workout. It's just the arm workout, that the upper body, that I don't really get a chance to. I don't really have anybody to spot me. So I use those machines, but I don't do them in a certain order. I'm pretty flexible. So if I see somebody on that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to that one. But, you know, I don't write stuff down. That creates more work for me. You know, 45 still rocking. I don't even feel like I'm 45. I feel younger than that. But the people that are my age look terrible. They really do. But they must have habits I don't have, I guess. Playing with toys keeps you young. This is kind of a bumpy side. No, we'll put the bumpy side face up. Yeah, so I'm not really flexible. Like, you know, I get there and I'm like, okay, I want to do the press, and somebody's on it. Okay, fine, I'll do the flies first then, and then I'll go back to the press. Oh, somebody's still on the press? Okay, I'll do the overhead press or something. You know, it's not like I've got to do them in a certain order. And many years ago when we joined the gym, they had like this little card that you needed to do them in order and log everything. It just created a bunch of work, you know. You don't even have to check in with anybody at this place, and everything's like new, and it is a bit far for us, but it's the same amount of time as going to the one that's in the city and no traffic. One of these days, and maybe I'll be able to do one pull up. I've never been able to do a pull up in my life, ever. And I'm gamer size medium, okay? But that's just not a muscle that you practice. You know? Dips, I went from not being able to do any to pretty much doing 3 sets of 10 consistently every time. So I was surprised that I was able to do that. But if I did something like that, I can't paint afterwards. I mean, I could probably dry brush the tanks, but I can't paint faces and stuff like that. Get too distracted. But gamer size medium. Only one we have is Planet Fitness. Okay. Yeah, we have a few to choose from here in town. We go to one that's kind of in the next little town over. It's brand new. It's pretty inexpensive. It's not filled with people. It's open 24 hours. And you have a key fob. You let yourself in. The bathrooms are impeccable. Impeccable. Unbelievably impeccable. Almost like, is everybody in here like wearing diapers and stuff like that and never go to the bathroom? Pretty amazing. But I don't have a use for a shower at the gym. I go after work. But I also don't like going out there alone. So either at least 2 of us are going, or we don't go to it because it is some mileage to put on the car for only one person going. But gotta do something or you're gonna fall apart. I do 2 sets of 30 on 60 pounds on a Smith machine. I'm not doing any kind of I don't want to read up on it, how to do it better. I just, I can only devote so much energy to it, or I just won't be interested in it at all. But I just kind of figure, okay, what's the maximum amount of weight I can do, and do 10 of them, and then do 3 sets of 10. And then when that seems easy, bump it up 5 pounds. That's all I've been doing. I know it's not probably the way I should be doing it, but hey, the alternative is not doing it at all. So why won't this fit in here? How truly strange. Is this shim fatter or something? Many years ago, I had a partner, No, I can't say that because that's a different meaning now. We used to go to the gym together. The problem is if you get used to going to the gym with somebody and they don't show up, it's kind of an excuse for you not to go. So it's actually, I think, better off not having just something you do alone instead of coming up with excuses. But used to do all the free weights back then. That was, 98, 99, something like that. Do what you can at the gym that you can. There you go. Yeah, just going is better than most people, so. I just don't understand, like, before I ever went to Historicon, I was probably on the miniatures page, like, well, it's great, but you got to be careful crossing Highway 30. It's crazy. And I'm like, Highway 30 is just like, or 441 here in town. It's not that big of a deal. There's a median or a turn lane. It's not like you got to go like Frogger and go all the way across. You can stop midway and it's just walking. You don't have to run. I mean, I can run for short distances. But if you can't walk, you got problems, man. You need to stop eating. Unless you've got some kind of condition that, you can't prevent. But I never understood that. I never understood walking because, your legs are carrying whatever you weigh anyways, all the time. You go to the bathroom, you're carrying whatever it is that you weigh, So that should be a no-brainer. I think we'll use this one. What's the thing I hate doing? I'm trying to think. What's the thing I hate the most doing? Of the things that I do. I have to think about that. It's got to be something lower body because I like all the upper body stuff. It's probably that thing you get on and your legs go 2 different ways. You either extend out, so in other words, you're naturally like this and you extend out, and then the other one where you're naturally like this and you pull back. I don't like how that one feels on the back of my hamstrings. Feels wobbly. But I love the dips. I love doing the dips without any comp. I I wish I had one of those things here every day, because I feel like in the work that we all do, and not painting really, because my posture here is a lot better than at the office. But I just feel like, man, you could crack your own back on that thing in a good way. My favorite song. Okay, so that's done. Let's get some magnets. I know what one you mean. Shoulders can be hard too. Yeah. Oh. Well, I didn't go today. I opted to. Oh, I hope we have more of this. We must have a live one of these somewhere. Okay, there's one here. Oh, I gotta order more of this. I'll order more tonight. Magnetic sheeting. I opted to wash cars today. Mag sheeting. And at least I did something. Man, it was just covered in pollen. Just covered, like thick. All right. 45. That's when I was 45. That's when I had to start wearing glasses for things up close. Well, I wear contacts anyways, but it's weird not being able to see things up close when you're nearsighted to begin with. It's like, great, I can't see things far away or up close either. So just a reminder, on next Friday, we're going to have a St. Patrick's Day version of Tony's Painting Hour. Well, it'll be more than an hour, I hope. I'm certainly not going to go to a bar alone. That's stupid. Girls are going to be gone, so. Painting with whiskey. But not too much whiskey, because then I get sleepy. And then, you know, it's not as entertaining. I've had a couple days this week where I've gone to bed with like pain in my neck, like a neck ache and stuff, and it wasn't days I worked out. So the workout stuff's never caused me to get, you know, on the contrary, I feel like the workouts, I'm working out stuff that doesn't get enough use. So that's kind of why I've stayed with the machines. I figure it's a lot harder to do them wrong with the machines, you know. All right. We will get the goop out, goop this, and then these can sit on the side until we get to them tomorrow or so forth. Yeah, I can't think of anything that I really dislike. Like swimming. I remember when I did swimming, I absolutely hated, with a passion, butterflies. Absolutely hate them. I just feel like I'm just thrashing in the water. I don't know what the butterfly equivalent of going to the gym would be. Oh shit. I haven't been doing something in a long time. I don't know if it's made a difference. I feel like it does make a difference. And that's scrub these down so there's some, get a better purchase on them. Now that I think about it, it's like I think I forgot to do that. Maybe I haven't. I like going to the beach but not swimming. Yeah, you can't really swim at the beach, can you? Beach is like exercise for your brain, man. It's like therapeutic. I don't want to live there just because you're not in control of that bitch, Mother Nature. She'd create all kinds of problems for you, but it's definitely a thought-clearing experience. Unless you're afraid of the water, in which case I guess it would be horrible, but I'm not afraid of the water. I'm not afraid of the critters. I figure I'm not that tasty. I don't know if I'd want to get in there and I'm the only person there, but if there's enough figure of people out there, I'm like, there's tastier people than me. But I have a feeling that most people have really bad, I'm going to say nutrition, but I don't really mean that. I mean very limited things that they eat, you know? I mean, I probably eat better now than I ever have, and a lot of it has to do with, drive-throughs. I would get drive-through food not because it's good, but because it was just convenient. But it's just terrible now. Everything's wrong. It's expensive, so my motivation to eat any of that is like nil. Northern Michigan, I couldn't get in the. I wouldn't be able to get in that water, man. I love cold weather, but I am a sissy when it comes to being wet in it. I can't do that. You'll never hear me complain about a thermostat though, or not running the heat. Bring it. I can bundle up. I love wearing long sleeves. We don't get enough of that here. I'm not a lake person, so our lakes here are not things you'd want to get into. And I don't mean because there's gators. They're just ugly. You got cypress knees, water that doesn't circulate well, it's brown. We got the springs here, and I think I may have been to them one time ever in my life. It's just like freaking 68 degrees or something like that year round. That's frigid. I can't get 68-degree water. What'd I do wrong? But I'll wear shorts if it's 30 or 40 degrees out, as long as my chest is warm. But not if somebody's spraying me down with a garden hose. I know these people that are friends of ours, and they live in another country right now. They do come and visit us a couple times a year, and they're like the polar opposite of us. They won't drink any drinks with ice in them, and I'm like an ice whore. I love ice in my drinks. But they'll swim in frigid water. I'm like, no. Nope. Not interested. My problem with food is just quantity. I just like to eat, so I don't mind eating something healthy, but it's got to be like big. It can't be like, something tiny like this. So I make a salad every day for work. Many years ago, I realized, spinach keeps a hell of a lot longer than lettuce, so why am I even buying lettuce? And lettuce has like no nutritional value, so I eat a shitload of spinach, man. If it makes you live forever, I'm set. So I try to get my vegetables in when I can because I like them. They're inconvenient to get if you're out. If you're out and about, it's difficult to get them. I went to what I call food boot camp. I had a stepmother that made me eat everything, and I hated her for it. And it's actually really handy now. it's really handy. So as long as you don't put ketchup or baked beans or something weird like liver or something like that, weird meats, I'm good. I pretty much eat everything else. All right, that is done. There are polar clubs in Michigan where they go swimming in the ice. Nope. We have a name for those people. Damn Russians. No, thank you. Some people are into suffering, I guess. All right. T-34s. 4 of them. And the turrets that go with them. All right, we've got our green, which is it's the same color we put on there before. I did go to one of those ice bars, and that was okay, but I'm not soaking wet, you know? And I'm drinking alcohol. No problem. Problem that takes care of itself. Let's get a brush that we have some measure of confidence in. I guess we'll go with this one. Why is this all crick-crocked? There we go. It's funny because if you look at the camera looks all skewed. But the view isn't. Alright, we're starting like this, and we're going to end up with something like this. So here goes. Is this thing about to fall off? No. Maybe we better be gentle with this. A friend of mine was saying that they didn't think that the fuel boxes that some of these had weren't used until 43, and that's what I thought as well, but that's not what photographic evidence shows. And we're not doing these in 1941 either. This is like for 1942 stuff. This does not take very long at all. It's just make sure you don't miss something. I am not. I am not. And I actually don't care if people do it as long as I don't have to smell it. Because I don't want people telling me what to do. You know, but no, I haven't touched any of that stuff. Just never, Just never appealed to me. Only if I had like terminal cancer or something like that would I touch it. I don't like the culture behind it. You know, not interested, but I don't care if other people do it. Just be considerate and, you know, don't get it in people's faces and shit like that, you know. I just don't see the point in doing something that is going to make me munchy and just like lazy-ish. I'm like, I got that shit down. I mean, I'm like I'm like a natural at that stuff. If I had to do drugs, I want the kind of, you know, I want to be productive. I want to, like, you know, throw my car on my back and like run home with my car on my back and get home sooner kind of stuff, you know? Like, be productive, get more stuff done. Paint the whole army in one night, you know? Nah, only thing I abuse is food, and it's probably it. I don't even drink that much. I like to talk about drinking, but I never do. No, we just run liquor and guns. Been maybe in, well, other than in the streets of New York the other day, I think I've only been in 4 situations where they were doing marijuana. Nothing, I've never seen anything heavier than that, but, you know, I'm not exactly well traveled. It just never appealed to trying it. You know, it's like, it's worth, at this point, it's like worth it more to say you never did it than to do it. You don't drink, but I love puffing. Well, good for you. Drinking for me is like part of my culture. You know, I just think it's kind of like built in. I don't do very much of it. Just, I did hate the people in college that were like, oh no, weed's good for you. It's alcohol that causes all the problems. Well, it depends who you are. Alcohol makes me a better person. I'm a lot more fun. You know, not obviously not drinking a lot. I mean, just having a few drinks. You know, I'm more sociable. I'm more fun. I'm funnier. You know, I don't get angry. I only get angry sober. So I guess it depends who you are. I also have no one in my family that has ever had alcohol abuse issues. So, you know, maybe people that do have that in their family have a different outlook. But I don't know anybody in my family that's ever done drugs. So that's just not my thing. So, okay. Was this the last one? Oh no, we've only got 2 down. Whew. Nordic, welcome back. Alberto. No, I can't imagine smoking anything. I was a cigarette smoker for 8 years in my life. It's like a different life. And I quit in 1998, and it's like, it's just weird to think that that was something that I even did. But never did anything more than that. And never went back to it. I'd never even think about doing that now. Just a different part of my life. Nordic, I'm doing great. Was playing Ticket to Ride and Splendor with a 9-year-old cousin. She always likes to play these games when she comes over. Well, there you go. I'm not familiar with Splendor. I've played Ticket to Ride. Mitch plays Ticket to Ride with his daughter, and we played one time that Marty came over. It's kind of a light version of the railroad game that I really like called Empire Builder. It's kind of a light version in that you don't get to design your plant. You don't get to draw like the actual pattern in the route. You don't get to draw the route in with Ticket to Ride yourself as much. So you can't say the name of that game without like a fake English accent. Burrows and Badges. Well, I wasn't able to do much with them. It took me about an hour to drive to with the airbrush to prime them last night, which took a little bit longer than I thought. However, I thought I missed a lot of spots, and I didn't miss hardly anything. So, I guess I could have been done quicker priming them if I had done a shoddier job at it. So I'm glad I didn't, because why touch it a second time? But I ran that airbrush. It's not airbrush primer. It's the surface primer. I ran it straight through the airbrush at about 50 psi, and only a small clog issue, maybe 60% of the way through, that was able to fix relatively easily, and then cleaned it up and was done. So it really didn't. The airbrush is not created. Yeah, you weren't on this here this morning, so I'll talk about this because I talked about it this morning. But I know you're an airbrush guy, but. So I was airbrushing for about an hour, just spraying black, just thin and going over it. The damn thing was running all the time, and towards the end of the session, it started making a funny noise. So I don't know if it was overheating or whatever, but and it was running all the time to try to keep up to maybe 30 psi. It's got a tank, but it's not a huge tank. And I kind of feel like when I'm airbrushing, I have kind of a time I need to speed up because I don't want the paint that's in the receptacle to dry up and jam my airbrush up. So I feel like I can't just take my time and wait for the pressure to build back up. You brush prime the 37 AWI British, and later evening had to go back, give a second coat for I missed some spots somehow. That is the primer I use. I have both black and gray. It is excellent because it's like thinned down enamel paint. It like gets everywhere. Speaking of getting everywhere, we have some I'm just gonna leave them there. It's not that noticeable. Oh shit, that's a little too bright. Gleam. the hairs. This is some hairs from the bristles from the brush had fallen off and became attached to the paint there. The compressor I have can run constantly for about 10 minutes, then it shuts off, but I have a basic cheap compressor. Yeah, mine's cheap too. Well, it depends what you consider cheap. It's like 150 bucks. But it has a tank on it, but I cleared the water separator when I was done yesterday. Man, there was a lot of moisture in there. So I guess it's doing its job. I guess that's a good sign, right? If you press that little button to get the stuff out of there, and a lot of like liquid comes out, it's doing its job. I'm guessing that's what it means. I'm still a noob when it comes to airbrushing. I'll get there, but you know, just like photography, I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time trying to take the world's best photos. You know, I'm a pretty shitty photo taker. Hey, after tonight, we'll have some decent light now in the evenings. It won't feel like, you know, you're getting ready to go to the gym at 7 o'clock at night and it's totally dark and you're exhausted. Got a starter set compressor and a water Neo from Hobby Lobby for like 75 bucks. Okay. The Awada I have, I love it. It just behaved. That should be the minimum of how something should operate. But the first airbrush I had, first of all, was a piece of crap. It was not gravity fed. I think that's huge. You know, because then you got to have the paint thickness the right thing, and then you got to have enough suction so that it sucks the paint up. There's just a lot of variables that sometimes are difficult to control. Okay, I think we've got all these done. Let's look at the fronts. Yep. And nope. Yeah, I didn't even look at airbrushes at Hobby Lobby. I figured they'd be really expensive. But honestly, they're better priced than the stuff online. That's without a coupon or anything. So that's where I ended up getting my Awada at. We need a liquid. I'll be right back. Yeah, siphon fed airbrush is not that great in my opinion. Gravity fed is where it should be at. Yeah, that was a disaster. But I got the compressors. I wanted a compressor with a tank. My first compressor doesn't have a tank. I still have it. You know, there's no point in getting rid of it. But it doesn't have actually I should get rid of it because it doesn't have a pressure gauge. So that's, I think, pretty necessary. I don't think a tank is necessary. You gotta have a pressure gauge to set it to something. A tank's not that necessary because it's damn near running the whole time anyways. Well, I'm also not like, and then, I wonder how that looks, you know, and then, you know, I'm not doing that. I'm like constantly, you know, it can't keep up. you know. But it's either that or the paint that's in there dries out. So it's not a problem. It just, figuring it out as you go. And honestly, I was having so much problems with that early airbrush because of the being siphon fed and just generally being a piece of shit. So when I got the second compressor, it came with an airbrush that was the same type of El Cheapo brand thing, but I made sure that it was a gravity fed one. And it didn't even work right out of the box. I tried running thinner through it and it wouldn't even spray it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not spending an ounce more on this thing of worrying about it. If this is how airbrushes are going to be, then I can't airbrush because I just don't have it in me to fight with this thing all the time. When I'm doing this and there's zero fighting, right? So then I'm like, all right, well, I got one last shot to get it, I got a compressor that's cheap, but it has a tank, and I've read reviews on it, and people claim that it works just fine for them, and it's like the minimum denominator you should get. All right, so we got that going. All right, what about an airbrush? Well, everybody raved about the Iwata one. I'm like, all right, it is kind of hefty, but if it works, it's going to save me a lot of trouble because, how much is your trouble worth? Fighting with the damn thing all the time. So let's try this, and if this doesn't work, then I'm giving up on airbrush completely. And it worked great. So, but I don't ever see airbrushing replacing this. I think it's a tool. It's great for sealing. It's even better for sealing than priming. It is amazing for sealing. Because I can give it multiple coats and do them really, really thin, and it's really, 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 really flat. So, thinking I will paint along with you. All right, pull up a chair, man. Grab you a clear soda. There's lots of clear sodas that are excellent. Like I mentioned, that Fresca's excellent. I'd like to do some aircraft, but aircraft that, would be on an airstrip, that'd get caught in a freaking battle kind of thing, not just to not use them for anything. Got to get your paint tray, all right. Get a handle on that paint tray running away from you. I haven't even looked at what designs to do on these tanks. I love doing that. I love looking for that kind of stuff. I love doing research. A lot of people just jump to conclusions, don't do any research. There's a guy that posted on one of my things the other day, or I think it was today. He was like, "Oh, why'd you paint your 233 gray? They were all used tan." I'm like, "Look it up." I don't like the early 231 series armored cars in tan. They're okay in the desert, but like in Dunkelgelb, I don't like them in Dunkelgelb. That's like for the 234s. I know that they painted them, but it just doesn't look right to my eye. It's like painting a Czech 38 in Dunkelgelb. It just like makes my eyes bleed. I know they did it. 22nd Panzer Division had most of its vehicles in that color. It just doesn't look right. So you're not a fan of the Dunkel Gelb. Yeah, I'm not either, to be honest with you. It's just something you got to do, you know? It wasn't good for the Germans either. They were never winning when they had the Dunkel Gelb on. Bad juju. Where's the last turret over here? They switched colors and stopped winning. They put Hitler in charge of the OKH and started losing. OKW. Nah, there were lots of factors. That just happened to be, one of them. The Germans started losing that advantage that they had is junior officers had like free reign how to do stuff, like we want you to do this. How you do it, we're not so picky about it, Once they started like, well, I better check with my boss to make sure it's okay that we take one step back to encircle these guys and crush them. Well, it's a good thing they lost. But they had some cool equipment. There's no denying that. But I actually enjoy painting the Soviet stuff more because it's easy to make the German stuff look cool because it looks cool. Unpainted. The Soviet stuff, you're like, there's a million of them. But it's like, it's fun to take things that are potentially boring or uninteresting and make them, have some excitement to it, Shermans and T-34s and stuff. They're just... They deserve some interest too. Have you seen my plastic figure that I painted the other day? That I primed? He's ready to go. I just don't feel like painting figures right now. It's for the German general set. I primed von Manstein. So, I gotta watch a video on plastic figures. Surely there's one out there that tells you how to clean them up better. Because just using an X-Acto knife isn't working. And I don't want to use a flame and get them close. That's, there's got to be something in between the two. Because the plastic... Did you watch my unboxing video? You don't mind painting Russians. The funny thing is I've never actually painted Russians. I want to paint Russians for Napoleon accent. I love painting Russians. They're fun. You get to make fun voices with them. It's all about getting drunk and only having 2 teeth in your skull. Good stuff like that. I do like playing Russians. I like playing Germans too. I think everybody likes playing Germans. They're rat bastards, but they had some cool shit. Cool looking stuff. I did post it on Facebook. These guys right here. Yeah, they're freaking excellent. They are really. I, I am incredibly surprised. I am incredibly surprised how good these are. There's 3 sets of these, so I'll just pull one of them out. You gotta go watch the video and give it a like, though. I love doing unboxing videos because I don't know what the hell's in there either. You can both get to find out at the same time. And sometimes it can be a fail. And in this case, it's a win. Oh, we gotta get closer. We gotta get closer to do these guys justice. I'm really quite surprised. All right. Crap, now I gotta put my glasses to see what I'm showing on the screen. All right. These are excellent freaking figures. And the reason I got these and not something like AB is they have some guys that fit in turrets, like this guy right here. I'll cut him down, put him in a turret. I'll take this guy and put him in a turret. You know, I mean, you know, I'll cut a little bit, oh, cut a little bit more, oh, cut a little bit more, you know. And then there's dismounted guys. Here's Rick's favorite guy with the rose bushel. Never accept flowers from a communist. Or a Nazi either. Probably a bad idea. He's going to ask for favors that, you know, you don't want to do. But there's some dismounted folks here too, including guys with pistols and paper shahs. That'll be great. These guys, when they have to bail out of a tank. You know, assuming they don't get incinerated. And they're excellent costumes. They have excellent faces. They really, really do. I was surprised. But, and they have very little flash, but they do have some flash. And in order to clean it, you can't just take the X-Acto knife and run over the edge like you would if it was a hard plastic figure. It doesn't work. It almost gets furry, so to speak. So I gotta go watch a video on how to do that before I start going down the wrong road, because I think that these guys are gonna paint incredible. I really do. I mean, look at this guy right here. Look at this tank commander. They got great faces. I can do faces. So I think I can make these guys shine. But I can take a tiny little bit of flash off of them. If not, then I may just give up and just paint them how they are, you know. But anyhow, wanted you to see that. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. The guy with the flowers, we're getting rid of him. We're going to take those flowers off and put a little flag in his hand or something like that. I already knew that going in. So, anyhow, yeah, they're excellent figures. And that's one set that this company makes. But they make also the dismounted guys with them. That's why the appeal was to get those. You know, if I buy the AB guys, they're a lot more expensive. They don't come with any dismounts. I'd have to buy the dismounts separate. So I figured, let's just give it a shot. It's on Amazon. If I don't like how they look in the package, I'll just return them at Kohl's. I love them. The size on them is fine. If you go to Plastic Soldier Review, they give you the scale. I mean, even though they're 1/72 scale, it kind of gives you, you know, each one about what size they are. And I believe these guys are 23.5 millimeter. So now we kind of know what 23.5 millimeter looks like. You know, this is about the size they need to be so that they scale with the lead figures. Lead figures, you know what I mean, the white metal ones. Okay, so it's time to add some dark sand, not Iraqi sand, dark sand, and lighten these guys up. Yeah, I was really impressed. Really, really impressed. Sometimes you do an unboxing and it's awesome, and sometimes you do an unboxing and you're disappointed. This is Buff, which is its cousin. Where did it go? How expensive were they? So they're normally like $12 or $13 plus shipping. These were like 21 bucks with shipping included from Amazon. I figured I paid a little bit more, but I was a safety net of being able to return them. See, now I don't have a problem buying stuff from that company because I know they make good shit. So it's very difficult to return things if it isn't through Amazon. It's just a royal pain. I mean, unless there's a physical store, it's a royal pain in the ass to return things. All right. I don't know why this is getting hidden. Not buff. Here it is. Oh, it looks a lot lighter here. Dark sand. But you get 39 figures. So you get a lot of them. I'm just glad it worked out. So tonight, yeah, see, I tried to scrape some of them off and it just leaves them kind of furry. That's just not going to cut it. I mean, I think they look worse than had I messed with them. So I got to watch a video on it. If not, we'll just leave them how they are and paint them. And there's just a tiny little bit of flash on them. So but they're excellent. I'm really impressed. Now those guys will not have names on them because they're, you know, I don't need to make 4 tankmen for every T-34. You know, that would be stupid. But I'm probably going to put numbers on the bottom of them. So, you know, number 1 will be this guy when he bails out, and you'll just use his name from the tank crew because the tank crewmen will have guys' names of them on there. Oh, we still have some of that. Can we use this? Probably. Let's take this. That's a little too much. And let's take some Flow Aid. Even though we're dry brushing, we need these colors to mix together a little bit. I'd put them on the wet palette, but then it would maintain them wetter than I need to. So that's not a good thing. I think that's about right. Actually, I think I need a little bit more contrast between the two. But I got them here in like 2 days. You've only seen videos of folks prepping the original Cyocast soft plastic. They were having to slice off any flash. Yeah, it looks like what I'm probably going to have to do. Oh well, at least the figures are nice. Yeah. We'll give it a shot. I'm sure that I will make the right decision when the time comes to make it, and it will turn out just fine. But I really like the figures, man. I was impressed. And they make 2 other sets. They make one set that's not very useful. It's like their early tank one, and they have like more than half the guys almost have like almost like a Panama type hat or something like that for the Russians. Like, you know, the guys that are working on that. Remember like those brim hats that they used to make the Spetsnaz wear in Afghanistan? Kind of like that. And they're for, you know, refueling crews and stuff like that. You know, I've never seen any World War II figures that had that type of hat on them. Got another dead brush, huh? And then they make another set that's winter. They got some coats and stuff on there. They got those padded jackets. I mean, it's early. I think this went south now. There we go. I don't normally like doing that, but there we go. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be on this morning at my normal time. My daughter asked me to take her into work. So, she's got to go in. Should say, take her into work to volunteering. Because they're not paying her yet. She's in a medical program in high school. She's working at the local hospital. And it's really a pain to park over there. But I got to leave here at like maybe 6:10 in the morning to do it. So there's no point in getting on for, a matter of minutes. But that should not be the case tomorrow. We should be back to our regularly scheduled pre-6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time painting. I'm sure I'll be working on T-34s. I'm certain of it. There's two of them. Does she want to be a nurse? No, she wants to do something in the medical field. She doesn't want to be a nurse or a doctor. Maybe like anesthesiology or something like that. She doesn't mind working in a hospital. I would hate to work in a hospital, personally. I don't want to wear a uniform. That's a big thing for me. I don't want to wear a uniform. So something like that. And she's really good at school, so should be able to do anything that she puts her mind to. She's better at school than I am. I have a really low tolerance for busy work. So as soon as I smell that something's busy work, my interest in doing it is like gone out the window. See, I wouldn't have made it in the military, I don't think. Dig a hole. All right, now what? Fill it out. All right, now what? Dig a hole. Where? Same place. Couldn't you just left it open? You talking back to me? You know, don't you have like people that we need to take out or something like that? Something productive to do? I hate busy work. As soon as I catch wind that it could possibly be, you know, stuff just because for not a purpose, I'm going to try to get out of it any chance I can. You know, if I'm going to wear a uniform, I get to design it. What the hell do I mean by that? I don't know. It's like, you know, if I'm going to have my own country, I want to design the flag. Nurses and doctors are slaves. They can't, you know, they can't ever get away from their job. That's great if you like that, but I can't imagine being defined by what you do for a living. I mean, I know that a lot of people are, and I'm probably the exception. Maybe I'm not, but I can't imagine being defined by what I do for a living. And it might be a couple reasons. You know, there's a lot of things that might be okay to do, but there's so much BS CYA crap involved in it that that's just not interesting at all. Like, you know, and that gets worse every day. Got to do this in case something happens. That sounds a lot like busy work to me. And for that, I am out. That sounds a lot like busy work. What would your flag look like? I don't know. Just saying. Yeah, those people that work in hospitals, they don't have enough time off. What I mean by that is, I don't think a 13 or a 14 or a 15-hour day kills anybody. But you need to have at least 12 hours off. Or, you know, let's see, what would be a good number? However many hours you work, you should have the same amount of hours off. So if you work the 12-hour shift, you should have at least 12 hours off. You know, and 2 days off in a week. And if you don't get that, then what are you killing yourself for? Yeah, some people are, you know, love going to work. I don't mind what I do for a living. I just don't like the conditions I have to do it under. You know, interruptions, etc. I don't necessarily mind what I do. but it's just really annoying when you have to do it in less than ideal circumstances. But if you work a 15-hour shift, you better have at least 15 hours off. And it may be more than that. I'm just saying because, you know, my stomach growling, did I get a dog? No, I don't think my stomach's growling. I would never get a dog. I can't imagine living with it. I can't imagine living with a pet that's not like a hermit crab or something like that. It's not in my DNA. Okay, I think that's good. Let's do the turrets. Bring the turrets up appropriately. Once again, too much. That's all right. Like I said, we're going to keep making happy little accidents. Just part of being human. That's always a fun one. What's worst looking flags, stuff like that. That's like sorriest school mascots. There's some doozies out there. I know that one for a fact because I've looked that one up. There are some doozies out there. Yeah, that was my stomach right there. Man, you got good hearing. Or this microphone picks everything up. I better not rip one. You'll find out, you know, you'll even know what the magnitude is on it. Okay. There we go. Get in there. My daughter used to love watching Bob Ross stuff. Yeah, that's a big one. I'm not hungry. I'd say it's the carbonation, but I'm used to it. Made me laugh and I painted a wrong place, damn it. There you go. I win. I'd like to think I make people laugh here. Although somebody didn't like one of my videos the other night that I did. Well, sucks to be them. Because we all had fun watching it. You get like a downvote. Like, okay, what didn't you like? You didn't like that it was me? You didn't like that we weren't talking about, you know, cucumbers or, you know. Somebody said that one time, you know, a downvote on a video is not helpful. It's like, if you don't like something on the video, how are we going to make it better if we don't know what it is? Doesn't mean we're necessarily even going to do that, but, you know. Like I did an unboxing one time, somebody didn't like it. Well, you didn't like that I bought this and you didn't get anything? You know, hey, I just figured I'd share. It's not bragging, it's just, hey, this came out. Let's check it out together. I love watching unboxings. I don't get jealous if somebody got something that I don't have. What do you want me to do? Not have a video of it, and then you won't know what you're missing? There's a lot of people in this world that are generally not happy for other people. If they don't have something, it's like, man, screw that guy that had something that I don't have. Well, sucks to be that person. Now, if the guy's an asshole, and he has something that, well, maybe a little bit different. But then again, maybe that guy thinks I'm an asshole. Well, joke's on him, I am. Man, the stomach is getting out of control. Don't worry, it's just noise. We're not going to shit our pants or anything. Oh, literally, we'll talk about anything on here. We'll talk about anything for fun. Is your stomach growling? No, I'm just teaching that tapeworm to sing. That one almost sounded like Scooby-Doo. Bro. Okay. I think we can put this bastard away now. Now we'll get the wet palette out. And we will get rid of this because putting the wet palette on paint and then put it somewhere else, you get paint somewhere else. So I've done that to myself before. I think you're coming out in sympathy with my gut. Wife made barbecue pork. It gets me every time. Maybe you could teach the tapeworm to pull space balls, pop out of your stomach, and start dancing and singing. Haven't seen more than 10 minutes of Spaceballs. Couldn't stand it. Maybe if I didn't like Star Wars, I could watch it. Can't stand it. Sorry. I think I'd rather watch Kelly's Heroes. I'll just skip the theme song. You tell her every time to stop buying pork. I don't have any pork problems. We're pork people. Things change as you get older. I haven't really experienced anything like that other than the close-up view, but I'm sure I'll probably have a moment where it's like, man, I can't eat such and such anymore. Yeah. The question I want to know is a pig's ass pork. The answer is yes, it is. 100%. That's one of those country sayings, by the way. You want to go to the convention? You want to go to the game convention? Is a pig's ass pork? No issues with ham, gammon, or bacon. I don't know what gammon is. Isn't that a bomb that they used in the Second World War? Gammon bombs. Let's get one drop of this stuff here. Let's get that out of the way so we don't have a problem. Now we need to get a brush. Not that one. Then we can do some edging and stuff. We're gonna have to get all up in it. This one should be fine. Be back 15 or so minutes. No one go anywhere. Just for that, I'm leaving. You're not the boss of me. Got a text about 2:30 in the morning from Mitch, and the text said something like, "Don't you know this guy? He's been in an accident. It's so sad." And it was a link, and I'm like, okay. And I click on the link, and the first thing the link asked me is, this is through Facebook Messenger. The first thing that the link asked me is, enter your password for Facebook. I'm like, I'm already in Facebook. Why would you be asking me what the password is? Like, there's a sign that something ain't right. See, that's the advantage of not remembering any of your passwords, which I don't. As soon as I'm somewhere and it asks me to enter them again, and I'm already in the thing, I'm already questioning it naturally. I'm like, why am I looking this up again? I don't believe I've only been hacked one time, and it was in like 1999, way back then. Some guy had put a Trojan on my computer. At the time, I didn't know what that was, other than a freaking condoms. Oh, Trojan, yeah, condoms. I don't know what the F that is. But I haven't been hacked other than that, and I don't give information at websites that I don't need to be giving information to. Man. At least it's not painful. Really? So we're just going to make some stuff definitely pop, even though we're going to come in and highlight with some of the dry brushing as well. We want to make sure these spots get some extra attention where they can be seen across the table. Sort of. And then we'll go a little lighter. And put some inconsistencies, maybe some scratches, stuff like that. Points of interest. Oh, I'm not even on the camera. What the hell? think I'm zoomed in too much. Maybe I'm not. Maybe the camera's too close. That's what it is. Yeah, I wish these were 1/72nd scale, but man, for the price, I just couldn't walk away from them. It's a good thing they didn't have more stuff. Would have tempted to get even more. You just can't find this scale stuff in the US. Everything's 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28. It's like, I'm not painting 28s. They're too big, they take up too much space, take too long to paint. You know, if you want to give them a good job, do a good job on them. All right, this guy's going to get one of these. You're surprised about the smaller scale situation in the U.S. What, that they love 15s? Flames of War. I get all kinds of comments on I'll post stuff that I worked on recently. And like, oh, that was cool. Is that for Flames of War? It's like, all they know is Flames of War and Warhammer. Bolt action. I just find it so weird. It's so weird and an alien thought to have a company that manufactures miniatures to make their own set of rules. It is so freaking weird to me. It's also very weird to say, these are these rules and you got to play them in this scale, you know? If I'd seen people play DBA in 28 millimeter, I probably would have never painted any. I just have no love for that scale. I have to spend way too much time. I've never played Warhammer or anything. So that tie-in where we got to make the stuff in the same scale that people are used to from playing Warhammer, that doesn't do me any good. I don't fall in that demographic of ex-Warhammer players or what have you. All right, I need to take a little pee break, and I will be right back in about 5 minutes or so. I started off at 25 mil, but once I had a family, I had no choice but to go smaller scales. Do you start off at 25 mil or soft 25 mil? You know, also meaning 28. I'm not struggling to get 20 mil. It's just, it all comes from the UK. And the shipping is stupid, you know, and it will continue to be so. I don't see that getting better. You know, it's just stupid that. Yeah, I think this is equivalent in color. We don't have to look the same. I just happen to like how those look. So, you know. Okay, that one's done. Let's do the ones with the boxes last. Industry is inundated with 28 mil. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of like the 15s, if I did 15s, look, World War II, if I did this stuff in World War II, like the Flames of War stuff, the vehicles are cartoonish. They're not perfectly proportioned. I'm not that I necessarily have a problem with them being cartoonish, but they're not ultra realistic shaped. Some of these can be cartoonish too, but you know, you're not going to have cartoonish stuff from, say, Dragon, you know. And I don't mind the oh good, like Gleeked all over the tank. I don't mind having plastic tanks. It actually makes it easier. And I don't know why 28 millimeter has just been a flood. I've heard some people a while ago that said, well, you know, gamers are getting older, so they need the bigger figures to see better. I got news for you. As someone who has gotten older and now needs to use some kind of correction to see up close, you know, with readers and stuff like that, bigger figures wouldn't help me at all. You know, because you're still, you know, you're still seeing them blurry no matter how, you know, no matter how you are. So bigger figures wouldn't appeal to me from that standpoint. I never did 15s in World War II because World War II 15s, when I was getting World War II stuff, really was just kind of just starting out in that scale. He started in Flames War 2007, but the group I played with were all ex-Warhammer 40k players who brought a tournament mindset to the game and ruined it. Well, it's okay to play things cheesy, and it's okay to play trying to maximize stuff, but it's not okay to say I'm never going to play early war Russians because they suck. Because you're missing out on the problems that you have as a Russian commander of that period. You know, if you're just interested in winning and all you're doing is using elite troops, yeah, it sucks. You know, you need to have different problems. I mean, I try to win anyways when I'm playing, but I'm just saying that some people would just like try to like not have any kind of problems at all, and you know, well, I only want the elite troops, so you know you don't have that problem, kind of thing. And that's fine if that's your preference, but if that's the only way you play, I think you're missing out on the bigger picture. I've never been one of those people. You know, sometimes it's satisfying playing crappy stuff and doing well with them. And you get to mock people for beating them with crappy stuff. And they play with elite troops and tournament winning list. And if they lost, they threw a tantrum. F them. Screw those guys. Those guys are no fun to play with. They deserve a bad case of diarrhea. I hate win at all cost players. You know, both people are trying to win, man. You're trying to win too, but the other guy's trying to win as well. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of tolerance for those people. And there's a lot of those people. Fortunately, I have not encountered very many of them playing DBA. I'll be honest with you. I really have not. More than 97% of the people I've played have been pretty decent folks that you don't mind losing to because they have a good attitude, you know? If you're playing a game with somebody that you don't want to lose to because they're a dick, maybe you need to change the people you're playing with. How's that saying go? Every group has an asshole, and if you think your group doesn't, it's you. You are that asshole. Congratulations, it's you. Oh, we're back to creaky chair land. As soon as I... Nice. The bitchin' chair. Sounds like the kind of folks you don't want to lose a game to, though. Throw a tantrum. after we're done with this, to paint a bunch of tracks. I suspect that's probably pretty common. You know, have folks that only play a certain way with only certain troops, and they buy 3 tanks and a bunch of infantry, and the other guys have to buy, 20 BT5s and what do you got left? A hull and 2 turrets. Two turrets. I'm getting pretty tired, honestly. I'm getting pretty tired. I'll tell you what, I gotta take a shower anyways. I'm gonna go take a shower intermission, and I'll be right back in a few minutes. And maybe that will energize me a little bit. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Tony may know. Okay, let's see what we may know. All right, this is the part where I say, I don't know how you bastards can't. I don't know how you gamer bastards can't shower every day. I don't mean necessarily anybody who's on right now. I'm just saying you need to freaking shower once a day, at least, minimum. Bad for morale. All right, let's see if we go. Holy smokes, that's good. You knew I was coming back. Any ideas? 19th century miniatures and Coruscant are reliable. I think they both are. 19th century is. I really like the stuff 19th century has. Okay, I'm a big fan of Old Glory, and they basically took over all of Old Glory's 15 millimeter lines. They are, of all the people I have ordered from multiple times, the slowest. And that's crazy because they're one of the only ones in the U.S. So I think they don't have a lot of stuff on stock and have to cast everything. I think that's what their thing is. And I really miss when they were at Historicon, because the first 2 years that I went, 2006, 2007, they were at Historicon. And since then, they haven't been back. So, but they are reliable. They're just a little slow. You got to plan a little bit when you get to them. Coruscant, I've never had an experience with Coruscant. People seem to be pretty happy with them. They just showed up on the scene too late for me to get anything from them. They have cool things. They just don't have anything that, they just showed up like 10 years too late for, the stuff that I would be buying from them. Yeah, 19th century miniatures is Old Glory 15s. Yep. Yeah, I really, really like their stuff. I've bought a lot of things from Old Glory. Coruscant has size issues with different lines. Yeah, some of their horses are weird. Some of their horses are like stretch limos. Size issues is no problem for your fantasy stuff. You know who makes a ton of fantasy stuff and I absolutely dislike them? I don't know what their fantasy stuff is, but their historical stuff, I absolutely dislike them. And they have a big following. I think they have a big following. Splitter Light. I just don't like their casting style. Not a fan. I'm awake. I wasn't feeling too good. Needed to wash my armpits. Been out in the sun and stuff. I didn't smell. It was just like, you just have to get the old layer out. Yeah. Mixing anything 28 millimeter skeleton hordes? That's a big guy. Whoa. Whew. Yeah, I'm a little better. Well, at least I don't have a neck ache or anything. Let's have some water. It's all good. This is good stuff. So yeah, this is a dirt box. I did not know that. I'd seen lots of models of T-34s like they're carrying around with this box. I wonder what's in the box. As Ren would say from that episode, Ren and Stimpy, it's dirt. You paid $42 million? You idiot. It's a dirt box, which, if a shell hits a box of dirt, I think it would make a difference. I think it's not going to make it worse. It'd make it a dirty penetration. Don't go there. Saw some Legio Heroica. Everything I've seen from Legio Heroica looks amazing. And War of Spinning Succession 15mm that last night looked really good. Unfortunately, are they out of business? I know the sculptor is passed away last year, maybe the year before, and his family just. Yeah, it's difficult when you're a one man band and your family's trying to. They're not into it, you know. I mean, a lot of these hobby companies are they're doing it out of the love for they have for the hobby, and the other family members just they either don't have a clue how to do it or they just don't have that love for the hobby, which is fair enough, you know. But they had some outstanding stuff. Yeah. Outstanding stuff. Look at it this way. If the shell hits the tank and explodes the dirt box, now the tank crew has been buried in dirt from Mother Russia. That's right. Guaranteed the dirt that's in here comes from Russia. That's a shame. And the painter they had on their website was incredible. Incredible. Or really appealed to me. The style that he used really appealed to me. That's what happened with 20 millimeter. The manufacturers that make figures. Actually, I think you can still get the combat ones from Dave Alsop, but the battlefield ones, they're gone. They've disappeared. Now the sculptor's still out doing other things, but all these Stalingrad guys that I have, this figure right here that I just pulled out in my video, he needs to be put a dull coat on him and rebased. This is an excellent figure. An excellent face on him too. I know you want to see this Nazi bastard. Let's get in there. I painted this guy freaking 20 years ago. Alright, now let's find the camera. Boy, I don't have a clue where it is. It's over here? Alright. Let's bring him over here. And let's see if we can tilt him. By the way, he's Kellner. They have excellent faces. Almost like, this guy almost has kind of like an AB face. They have some unique mannerisms to them. Their boots tend to be kind of big. Almost kind of like a kid in boots. Like a kid puts on his dad's boots. I put his little rank things on. They don't come on there just as a flat collar. That is one thing I like to do with my Germans. Is I like to give them that dark green collar, even if it's later in the war and they didn't use it. I think it looks nice. Anyhow, we gotta go zoom out a little bit more now. And that's not one of the better battlefield miniatures figures. No, I don't want to connect. No, I don't want to. I just want to minimize this. Thank you. Yeah, the only problem that they sometimes have helmets that aren't the best. Some Soviet helmets look like German helmets and something like that. They got a little bit too much of a step in the side. Is this the last one? Yeah, we've done the other one. Okay, cool. That'll work. I'd like to finish the road wheel and track part. And then tomorrow morning we can hit what numberings are we gonna put on these guys? That'd be a nice place to stop for the night. Now, those figures on 19th century miniatures, speaking of them, almost a good proportion of the Napoleonics, French, Austrians, and Russians, I believe, were sculpted by Dave Alsop. And they're amazing. I love the style that they're done in. And his American Civil War, their American Civil War is all Dave Alsop stuff. And I don't, you know me, I don't give a shit about the American Civil War. And his general set are just inspirational. Actually, of all of the factors that I don't like the American Civil War, the one that's probably the reason why I like it, the strongest one to get away from is that both sides are American. I think that's probably the reason I like it the most, dislike it the most. So if it had been like that war they were fighting at the same time but the war between Paraguay and Brazil and Argentina, or the Maximilian adventure, those are a lot more interesting to me than American Civil War, because at least you have different nations, different factions, so to speak. I just think that both sides being American is kind of a bummer for me. You like Napoleonic War Russian uniforms? That green's nice. It is nice. I agree with you. So that Russian company called Strelitz, they make some Crimean War figures in 1/72nd. And all of their figures, like they have a Russian infantry pack. So they've got like 50 figures they normally come in those packs. Every single pose is different. That's amazing. And the style they're done in, I actually approve of. I like a lot. So I was just surfing. I was surfing figures, 72nd scale figures, and you know. Well, blame the South Carolinians for starting the war. They were always the hotheads of the Union. Well, there's other reasons I don't really like the time period or the uniforms or all those godforsaken sideburns. How could people sleep at night with sideburns like that? Your sideburns should not be thicker than the hair on the top of your head. Just saying. Joe bought a book recently that was because we were playing some of the battles and the naval battles from the Saltpeter War. So the war of the Pacific between Spain, Chile, and Peru. And they had some black and white photos in there. And that's that same time period as American Civil War. And there's some horrible looking folks. That was I thought the 70s were bad for fashion. Well, the 1860s were worse. Putting like these random markings, actually, by the time you weather it, there's kind of this underlayer. There's these markings underneath there that just kind of show kind of little imperfections that happen in the coloration. And I kind of did it as an experiment the first time, and it paid off. I really liked how it looked, so I've kind of done it ever since. I don't do chipping, but I do that. All right, we should have a couple turrets that haven't been touched. This is one of them. But you know what they say, it can't be into everything. Still traumatized by what my mother dressed me in the 70s. That's right, Barnes. Well, luckily we don't remember a whole lot. Brown corduroy pants. Yeah. The appeal for the ACW to me came because my best friend in elementary school was really into it and did reenacting and such, and I got hooked on the period ever since. Were you alive in the 70s, Nordic? I listen to a fair, my favorite kind of music to listen to is, shouldn't be a surprise, is rock. And I listen to a fair amount of 70s rock. I do not want to see what those guys are wearing while they're playing the music, okay? It is downright horrific. Downright horrific. Hell no, you weren't born in the didn't live through the 70s? I don't remember much. The earliest thing I remember, you're born in 83, so you missed the 80s. The earliest thing I remember is the bicentennial stuff in 76, being on TV, and I was on a rocking chair in the living room. Just that's all I remember. It's nothing other than that. Stomach is still, stomach/intestines, whatever, still, howling. Brrr. You remember the toys, cartoons, some of the movies. I never got to go to the movies much as a kid, but I did see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the movie theater. I did see Return of the Jedi in the movie theater. I did see Back to the Future in the movie theater. When it was new. That's the big three. I didn't see Star Wars in the movie theater. I would have been 6. I didn't see Empire Strikes Back in the movie theater. I would have been 9. I didn't have any younger brothers to watch it with, so I watched Return of the Jedi on the front row. I remember sitting in the front row, and it was like freaking huge. And I actually don't know if when I saw Return of the Jedi, if I had seen Empire Strikes Back yet. I know it sounds really strange, but at that time, how the hell are you going to watch a movie? That's already been out. If they didn't, they play it on TV, right? If they didn't play it on TV, you didn't get to watch it. I don't remember if we had a Betamax by '83. We may have. Might have been a little later when we had one, but we had a Betamax and a VHS and all that stuff. Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. Most people think so. I disagree. I think New Hope is the best one because it comes to a conclusion. Empire Strikes Back is open ended. I mean, yes, Empire Strikes Back has freaking Boba Fett and it has Hoth. Actually, I was just reading whatchamacallit, and it should be called Hoth. The general is Hoth, not Hoth. But anyhow, everybody likes the freaking ice planet. Everybody likes the big Yeti that gets his arm chopped off by a lightsaber. But I don't give a shit about Dagobah. I really don't. That whole scene in Dagobah is stupid. I don't care about it. That whole scene in Dagobah could be summed up by, okay, move on. I do a good Yoda. And if we'd watched those things as an adult, maybe we didn't appreciate them, but we grew up with them. They're part of our I don't know, our growing up. My brother has never watched the Star Wars movies. He was like, he just never got a chance to watch them, and he was like, I don't like them. I don't want to try them. He just, I don't know. He was just being real negative about it. And then he saw them, and he just thought they were stupid, like for kids, like Muppet. Well, they kind of were for kids. They're like, of course they're Muppets, but I don't necessarily have a bad idea of them because I grew up with them. So they're kind of, historical in a way. The first three, anyways. Still only watched the first episode of The Mandalorian this season. I fell asleep. You know? I really wish they would cast more things with people that are unknown. Once they cast somebody, it's like, oh, there's that guy again. It's like, just use people that have never been used before. You know? But we only did one turret. We got two turrets to do. No worries. We like to do turrets. So what's the backstory of so-called Baby Yoda? He's just a. I mean, I've seen all the other episodes. He's basically a creature of the same species that the other Yoda is, right? We just, I mean, we just assumed that Yoda was kind of a unique thing when we were growing up. It's like, yeah, there's a green guy with more hair coming out of his ears and on top of his head, you know? You hate waiting for a week for the next episode to come out. I wish it would just all drop at one time so I can binge watch. I hate waiting for shows. Me too. And just think, we used to like wait a week for shows and it wouldn't show them in order. Now you can like, watch whatever series and watch them in order and not miss one. That's pretty amazing. And we've done that as a family with many different shows. We did it with Friends, watched all the Friends series all the way through. In my opinion, one of the best sitcoms out there. But, if you ask people that are, a different age bracket, they probably would disagree with you. I just think it was really well done. We've done that with 3 or 4 other series. So, and it's just nice to be able to. Sometimes there'll be an episode that references another one, and if you haven't seen that other one, you're like, it's some of it that you miss. You know. Grogu apparently was a youngling back when the events of the prequels. Okay. And when Order 66 happened, he somehow survived and was hiding through the Jedi Purge. Okay. Remind me when Mandalorian takes place in. Mandalorian takes place in between. After Empire Strikes Back, right? But before the abortion that is the last three movies. Yeah, I think that's right. You thought the people thought the prequels were bad. The last three are just terrible. 8 years after Return of the Jedi. Okay, you watching it, Bob? That's probably a good one. Which one? The original one or his original show from the '70s, or the one from where he runs the inn? I've seen a lot of them from the inn one. The old show is before my time, and I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. It's just I didn't watch it because it was older, and my folks didn't watch it. So had they watched it, I would have caught many episodes of it. The one that where he runs the inn. Oh, yeah, the one who runs in is just called Newhart. I watched a lot of that one because at that time I had moved out and I only got 2 channels on my TV, no cable, and that one of the channels showed that show like at 10 o'clock every night. So I watched quite a few of Newhart. The original one from the '70s. Okay, is it good? I don't mind watching old shows. They wear funky. That one's '70s, right? I think it's early '70s. I think it's early '70s. It's before my time. And there are old shows that I did get to watch because my parents were into them. That I've seen a lot of episodes of them. The one that really stands out that I could think of right off the bat was Bewitched, and that's one you can't. It's very difficult to watch them in order. Several years ago, I'm like, let's just watch them because my wife also saw them too when she was growing up, and it's like, oh, let's have the daughter watch them with us. Well, you can't watch that. It's not on any of the streaming services. Okay, so I looked up, and Mandalorian takes place 5 years after the Battle of Endor and Return of the Jedi. Okay, the trilogy they came out with isn't canon anymore, so they don't exist. Well, so let's talk about the trilogy, the sequels. And I've only seen them each once. In the theater? I saw all of them in the theater one time. The first one isn't bad. What's bad about the first one is that they build another Death Star. It's like this. It's a New Hope. It's stupid. It's stupid that they copied a New Hope. Okay, that's really what sucks about it. I don't really mind the. I don't remember anything else. I only saw it one time, but it was like basically, Death Star with trees. It's like stupid. The second one, frickin' Rose just ruins it all. Not a Rose fan. And the third one, well, there was so many things I think I've forgotten about them all. Did anybody like Rose? I don't think so. Not old school Star Wars people. Yeah, my brother just like refuses to watch Star Wars. And he'll even say stuff like, Star Trek is much better. I'm like, I'm sorry, Star Trek, I didn't grow up with Star Trek, so it's garbage as far as I'm concerned. I am not a Star Trek fan. I am not, you know. Because the thing about Star Trek is you basically have people that are on a ship. That's it. You have naval officers. That's basically what the entire show is. Star Wars, okay, you got guys that they do magic shit, right? If you're not into that, like I'm not in it, I don't like religious zealots. So I'm into, the other characters, which I find much more interesting. And there's different planets that they go to, and there's different, it just it's more, well, it's my generation, So never seen the third one. Well, you definitely need to see it. Hell, you don't think you've seen the second one. Didn't care for any of the characters in that trilogy. I thought they all sucked. I thought, I, I thought, I thought Daisy and Boyega were both good. I think they were both cast well. I don't think they were the reason that they weren't any good. I think that it was like lack of imagination, seemed like, and it was, I don't think Boyega and Daisy were the problem. I liked those two. Now, some of the other characters I didn't care for, but I didn't care for. I don't like Adam Driver. I don't. I don't. I wouldn't use him as anything. He might work good in like a prison movie, like something that takes place in a prison. He just doesn't appeal to me. He might be a nice guy in real life, but there's just some actors that just aren't going to appeal to some people. Problem, the actors who played Poe and Kylo Ren, utterly horrible in my opinion. They ruined what I saw. Yeah, the Poe guy just doesn't do anything for me. But I'm not a fan of the new Disney anyways, so. Didn't like the new Dune. I never saw the first one, mainly because Jason Momoa and Timothy Chalamet. I think they're both hard actors. I don't know who this Timothy Chalamet guy is you speak of. Yeah, I never saw the first Dune. When it came out, my sister wouldn't take me to it. She's like, I would have been, what, 13 at the time? Oh, you'll never understand it. I didn't get to go. I'm like, well, I'm not reading the books because why am I going to read bullshit? You know, I can read about, real things that happen, or I can read bullshit. And if I'm going to read bullshit, there's better bullshit to read than that. Voice weapons and shit like that. Come on. Sorry, I never did any of those drugs. He played the main character in Paul. Yeah, if you don't like the main character, you got a problem. You're not going to enjoy the series. I don't know who the guy is. I may not enjoy him either, Odds are I probably wouldn't like him either, would I? Yeah, and you'd think that'd be an isolated thing, but there's many series that the main character I did not like. And I didn't make it to the end of the series because of that. Vikings, I don't like the main guy in Vikings. Whatever his name is. I didn't care for him at all. I didn't care for the main guy in The Last Kingdom or whatever. I didn't like that guy either. I watched one season, started to watch, and liked it okay. Started to watch second season, lost interest. It's hard when the main character is somebody who just doesn't appeal to you. Probably not. He only knows how to play brooding emo teen. Well, sometimes that works for the character, and sometimes it doesn't. So, I can't like everybody, right? Yeah, the actor who played Uhtred in The Last Kingdom was just hard as well. Who's Uhtred, the main guy? I also don't like anything with Samuel L. Jackson. I do, but I thought he makes a shitty Jedi. Except for Jurassic Park. Was he? I guess he was in Jurassic Park. Okay. And the three Star Wars movies. I don't like Samuel L. Jackson in Star Wars movies. I just think he just doesn't belong. And I do like Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't like, who's the other guy? Jimmy Smits in the prequels. I'm like, what's this guy doing here? Now, I think one guy who did an excellent job was McGregor. I think McGregor does a great job I think he does a great job. I remember when that series came out, I was reading some review and they said that the 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 actress that they got to play the third sister, they must have just grabbed her from a supermarket. She was like an angry shopper at a supermarket. And I lost it. You know, her character was written badly, and she was just the wrong cast. You know, you like McGregor better than Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan. Well, remember, Alec Guinness didn't want to be there. Honestly, he wasn't around very long. Angry shopper at a supermarket. I saw that. I laughed. I don't care if they make different characters of different ethnicities. They should. But, don't just throw somebody in there that sucks just because they fit the bill. You know? I don't know that I've seen McGregor in anything other than the Star Wars movies, to be honest with you. But I don't watch a ton of movies. So I may have seen him in something else, but he seems to have been a good cast. Shame Anakin didn't kill a third sister back during Order 66, or he could have been rid of her annoyance. Yeah, I don't think that Christensen was that bad. I think that the lines that they had for him to do were that bad. And the little kid in the first one was terrible. But that's just for him being a freaking little kid with a chip on his shoulder. You know? I don't want to hear a freaking 10-year-old with a chip on his shoulder. 10-year-old nerd burglar. That was the warning shot to see if Rick's out there. Remind me, Anakin switched sides because he wanted to save his wife, right? That's not a bad dude, man. She was hot. I'm a fan of Portman. Although, again, she had, a bunch of wooden lines and shit like that. I think it's a lot more relatable to follow a character that has emotion and has stuff like that than just some ascetic monk. I would not do well as an ascetic monk. You know, loud traffic, man. You got the hearing of a woman, and I don't mean that as a compliment. Here he comes. You like these, huh? Yeah, they're probably prettier than the real ones, but aesthetically, they're a pleasing vehicle. Oh, there's a ninja guy. Now that wasn't very loud, but I'm sure you probably heard it. It's funny. I was in the grocery store last weekend, and I don't have particularly good hearing, and I heard a sound like that. Sounds like my car. My car kind of has a unique idle sound to it, and I'm like, that's another WRX over there. Sure enough, it was. It was just grumbling. Usually the only thing I can hear that goes up and down this road, this is a 2-lane road that's kind of a main connector, but is if like there's like a dump truck. You'll hear like bang bang. You'll hear the lift gate on the back just banging the shit out of it because it's kind of bumpy out there because they don't spend any of our tax dollars on fixing our roads here. Rick might be having game night tonight. I think he plays on the weekends. Which is the correct time to play games. Not on the freaking Tuesday night or some bullshit. Oh, keep it down. Okay. Was this the last one? Yeah, well. Oh, I gotta do wheels next? Shit. Alright, I wasn't looking forward to doing that. Just because it's mindless. Alright. Time for the wheelie. Let's get. Nordic Esposo de Lagertha. More like Lagertha's bitch. Oh man. She'd be dragging you around. This is what we're gonna do. Yes, ma'am. Alright. Time to do these road wheels. This actually doesn't take that long. It's just kind of monotonous. There's more creative things you could be doing. That way we can hit the ground running tomorrow morning and customizing these 4 tanks to make them look different. And yes, we're going to have some camouflage ones, but we're not there yet. We don't have enough plain ones to get to the camouflage ones. Got to be like probably 5 to 1, even more than that. Plain ones to camouflage ones. Yeah, you'd be laggard this bitch. You'd be like, "This is what we're gonna do over here." She'd pull you out, and you'd be like, "Yes, ma'am," because she could like take you out with, she's badass. Did you ever watch that show she was in? What was it called? Big Sky or something like that. I guess it's kind of like a, what was the name of that thing that was around in the late '80s? Twin Peaks, kind of thing. Have you armed yourself for all-out duel to oblivion? The Norse or Vikings were in North America before Columbus and Nordic met Lagertha in Pennsylvania. Okay. You'd need more than a walker then, if you're that old. I have it, but I think it's on Hulu, so you may watch it. Yeah, it might be worth, especially if you have that vested interest in there. At least you can enjoy that part of it. I don't know. I watched the preview. I mean the commercials, and it sounded like it was interesting, but who knows if it really was. Sometimes previews give you the disservice of showing you the best things ever are, and then you go to watch and like, oh, I already saw the good parts in the 15-second commercial. Which is unfortunate. All right, this thing chipped off here, so let's reapply some black, and we'll come back and go over with that. No big deal. That's probably a part that's going to get super dry brushed anyways. I don't remember where I left off on Vikings. I want to say I saw all the way through season 4 or something like that. It was just after they had. It was just after Rollo had gotten married. And then Ragnar was having this freaking psychedelic dream. I think that was the last episode I saw. Something like a doorway or some shit like that. That's where I left off. My stomach, yeah, it is. At least it's not in pain. Rollo's wife was annoying. Wasn't she attractive, though? I don't remember. She may have been. Floki. Where's the Christian? They would have made more episodes of that if they didn't have if they didn't run over their budget of guyliner. It's not that I know your dreams, it's that I drank something from whiskey. I'm experiencing a little gastric discomfort right now. I'll trade you for your non-gastric pain. Nope. No, thank you. No, if I want to shit my pants, I can do it if I really wanted to. I don't. I hate the pain that goes along with it. You might have the volume turned all the way up. That might be why. Okay, this one is done with the tires. Now you got me looking. All right, hold on. Where's this? It's about where I left off here. Hold on a second. Rollo's wife and Vikings. Gisela. Okay. Maybe not. I don't remember. That's about when I stopped watching it. Did you ever watch that series? It was on Netflix for a long time. I don't know if it's still on there, but it was called Versailles. That was an excellent series. Other than the fact that some people should have made an effort to make a French accent, but that was and that's kind of a girly show, meaning it's romance heavy. Which I don't necessarily have a problem with it, as long as there's enough, other stuff in there. That's a pretty good series. I think they made 3 seasons of it. Yeah, if you get a chance, watch it. It's pretty cool. The guy who ends up playing in the Vikings, the monk that ends up getting captured, Althassan, he is that actor plays Louis XIV, and other than the fact that he does not do a French accent, he does an incredible job. He does an incredible job of playing Louis XIV. Mitch and I both really enjoyed that series, and I think you would enjoy it. I think you would enjoy it. It would be just a little bit better if they could have, have the actors do just, a Frenchman speaking English accent. Still do it in English. But a little bit of a twang. Come on, you're an actor. You should be good at this. I could do it with a little bit of practice. Yeah, we get screwed out of those hours. Yeah, so it's really 10:30. It's all right. It's a lot better than it's not as dark when you get home. Look forward to not having to go to the gym in the dark. That's quite annoying. Yeah, my stomach's on a tear. And I think it is my stomach. It's not anything lower than that. Or you might be hearing a different sound. Okay, 2 down. Mila Kunis, think is in California. Wouldn't it be easier there? Ukrainian just. Yeah, I still haven't seen the movie where her and what's her name? Are the ballerinas, and they have that scene together. Yeah, I've seen the clips of that. That's pretty nice. Portman, Portman, and her. I don't watch much, TV. I can't do anything while I'm watching television other than just watch television. All right. This isn't difficult. It's just kind of now this would suck to do without the flow aid, because the flow aid just keeps your brush from catching on stuff and having to go back and repaint something. I'm literally catching every single thing around it. It's almost like it adds like an oil or something to it. That's what it feels like it does, where it just smooths out and you don't miss anything. It's really amazing. I don't know that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not in pain. If I was, I wouldn't be doing this. That's for sure. Maybe my tapeworm woke up. I don't look my age. Well, maybe other people that are my age are the ones that are the problem. Like I said, you look at people that are my age, and man, they're in some rough shape. But we don't know how much they drink. I'm convinced this stuff like this hobby keeps you young. This is the third one. Yeah, I gotta see if I can find a video of that cleaning plastic figures on YouTube. Somebody's gotta have one. Okay, that one's done. And this side's done. Okay, perfect. Okay, that one's done as well. So you got this guy here. And then we can go and do the tracks on all of them. Possibly live beyond 80 years, but as there are, the glasses a male will appear when it's old. Well, that's lost in translation right there. I don't care if I look old. I just don't want to ever get the shakes. The shakes would be bad for me. I've got too many things I want to do. And the shakes pretty much prevent everything. All of it. Glasses. Glasses are uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, I'm nearsighted, so we're just putting that special focus thing to good use. It's crazy because I feel like this is really easy on the eyes. You know, even when I was painting with the contacts in, because I did most of my painting in 2020 vision. You know, corrected to 2020. I don't feel like looking at this stuff up close really gets your eyes tired. Your focus isn't changing in and out. You're just constantly at the same. It's actually pretty relaxing. Okay, I think that does it for this one. So let's rinse this. let's pull out the SS Camo Black. And paint the tracks. Step away for a few minutes, maybe on in the morning session. Okay, well, I'm just going to do the tracks and then I'm done, because till the morning session. No, I'm going to be done now. It's going to take longer than I thought. I'm getting pretty tired, and I need to, especially since it's almost 11. Losing that hour, but anyhow, thanks all for coming by, and we'll see you guys in the morning. We'll take a look at some pictures and see if we can't make these guys look really